Talking of resurrection. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is and wherever you are listening. Joined with me and you'll be thankful, Mr. Chris Cute.
Thankful?
Thankful, yes.
I have no gasoline, but hello.
Totally just, if you... no one would have noticed that, Chris.
I did.
It would have been that...
No.
Cheers for that.
No. There's another guy here, Richard. You might want to introduce him.
Talking of which, it's Jamie Page.
Hello.
Jamie, so I'm thankful you were here.
I was just going to say, Chris, but I was actually going to ask Jamie. Jamie, are you thankful I'm here, or because you haven't got to do the intro for the show, or are you like, oh God?
Well, this is me being American. I'm going to plead the fifth.
We won't ask the audience what they think, because I don't want to know. I can't.
Oh, I do now. I do now. Everybody chime in and wish Richard a happy New Year. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy New Year, Richard.
They'd be like, woo! As the little poppers go off and woo, glitter comes down. That's the only time you get to do it. And this is the class. This is what I've been saying for years, like all the time of this podcast. You get to say it the first time you see someone in the new year, and then you don't get to say it again because you've said it. Yeah, and we're halfway through January. Most people aren't. Well, actually, most people aren't going out. But
Richard, this whole topic and the little frustration you have with it came up a year ago, right? I mean,
this has been a pet hate for me years, for like always.
All right, so a year has gone by, and that's the best you got. That's. I mean, come on. You need to think about this a little more.
This is like Richard's cutting board.
Oh, like yes, yeah, or Jamie's. Dare I say it? Page.
No,
we have to go through that weekly.
Oh God, let's move on. We have sponsors, do we not, Mr. Morley?
we do.
Nudge.
We do.
Elbow to rib.
We should probably get around to that. And
how about we do?
Shall we? I tell you what. I'd completely forgotten. I didn't get the script ready. It's been how long have I not been here for?
Several weeks.
So I'm completely unprepared. It says like rambling and clicking around to bring it out. Obviously,
Richard, you have one job. You have one.
Literally,
job.
I have one job. Yes, I gave that to Jamie for the last 3 weeks. Actually, no. Technically, I have 2 jobs, Chris, because I do the upload as well.
Just
generally, I do it on time,
which takes a total of maybe 4.5 minutes, right?
Well, it takes a little bit longer than that. If you
5, I'll give you 5.
Have to wait.
Richard, just freaking. Would you please thank the sponsors for crying out loud? My God,
do you want me to do it? Because I kind of know off by heart.
You could do. We're supposed to be doing a show, aren't we? Anyway, let's do the sponsors, and we can
Jamie, go. Jamie, it's on you.
Have you got it up there, Richard?
I did have it up there. I've just swapped the other page. So, as always, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the Woodturners Abrasive Paste, our good friend Chad at Mancrafting, Pam from Highland Boxes, and also Steve Neelan from Harneal Media, who takes all the credit now, because that's the right thing to do for doing on our website. If you want to find out more about the website, sorry, Jamie, then head on over to makersinternational.com/sponsors, and all the information's there. And actually, Chris, in answer to your question the other week, the forward roll or the forward splash or whatever it is came about because it's a /, isn't it? When you say like .com or .co.uk / thing that you're talking about.
What it's called is a /
Yeah, but that's a bit boring. So I kind of went forward roll, and it's like we don't say https / www. anymore, do we? We just miss all that off because it's said. It's implied. So the implication being that people realise what it is, but it's kind of a little bit fun and quirky.
If you had put in the same effort towards Happy New Year as you did to that, I would have accepted it. So, yeah, okay, that's fine.
I was completely willing to just roll with the Happy New Year thing, to be honest, but, you started it.
We have questions, gentlemen.
There are many.
There are. The topic today is, have you ever?
And you mean questions about the topic? Oh, right, okay, yeah, okay.
Unless you have something else more, relevant to the situation, and God shoot me in the head if you do.
I mean, relevant, no, but definitely there are questions about this. There are many questionable things about this podcast. I mean, we could make a show out of purely the list, let alone going through them all.
And someday we should do that.
We should do like a side podcast, because that's. It used to be cool to have a podcast. Now it's cool to have like a what is it in TV when they do like a NCIS and then they do NCIS in a different place? and then CSI in another town, and Wives of the other place. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the cool thing now. We should do that.
You see what happens, Jamie? You crack a door, and the boy just blows it right
Scram!
just blows it over the crack, and he just totally goes off on another tangent. Look,
I've got tangents with tangents.
Richard, I got a 5-letter word for you right now. Okay, ready? It's called focus.
Oh, okay. Let's got 5.
The question, you 5. And this is a family show. I mean, I'm not going to.
It's not that one. Then. It's not that one. Then. It's not that one. Then.
Actually, I had to count that in my head before I said 5. Anyway, whatever. Have you ever is the topic today, and we wanted. And my chat, and Jamie, is my chat looks like it's frozen, or people just aren't talking out there.
Mine has as well.
I don't know what's going on. Let me
I've
go.
gone over to YouTube as well.
What?
And let's refresh the page, see if that makes any difference.
Let me go over to YouTube and take a look, and we can edit this out because I'm
No,
honestly.
it looks like the chat's frozen.
Everyone's just stunned. Like,
Well, if you're out there, and we assume you.
Right, Chris has just written something, so let's see if it comes over onto StreamYard.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, because we really did want your participation in this, because I'm sure that we're not the only ones with funny stories. But we'll proceed and hope that we can move on. So, we do have questions today regarding Have You Ever? And God bless the participants of our audience for keeping our focus on the format of this podcast, because as I mentioned earlier before we went on the air, I have a whole list of questions about Have You Ever that have nothing to do with making, but they kept it pretty much on making. So I'll start with Damien Burke.
I have a question, Chris, before we start.
Damo.
Sorry. No, seriously, this is a genuine, serious question. Well, it's not serious, but it's a genuine question at least. Is this going to turn into a kind of drunken night school party kind of because that's
yes,
possibly.
it is.
okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Just,
Yes, it is.
Just to set
Yes, it is.
the tone for people.
I don't want you to set your expectations too high, because yes, this will devolve into the crumbling mess that we are.
I think most of our audience knows better than that. To be honest, Chris. No.
But for the same questions, we'll do these up front. So we hopefully we get some retention at the beginning of the show, and then people can just turn it off later.
Yeah.
Damien Damo has a question. Have you ever literally thrown a project across the shop out of sheer frustration?
I'll be honest with you. I think the lathe has done that for me. on many occasions.
Richard, have you?
No, I don't recall like throwing it myself. I probably have though, because to be honest, and if you ask Kat, I can kind of kick off if the right catalyst. But I do remember many years ago, I was helping a mate of mine at the time build his extension, and he was showing me how to solder copper pipes for plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Quickly,
I don't know.
Sorry? We've got a lot of questions quickly because we have a lot of questions.
Anyway, so he'd done all this plumbing and he'd put these radiators in a small utility room, and we were tacking the ceiling, drywall plasterboard, and it was, you know, what it's like when you're holding up a
Richard,
paper
quickly,
sheet, blah, blah,
come
blah,
on,
blah.
let's go.
Anyway, this bit of, you can imagine this bit of plasterboard precariously balancing, like trying to fix it into the ceiling, and it was sort of going, and it was going, and it was going, and it just snapped in half above his head. He'd been struggling with this board for I don't know how many minutes, and you're getting tired and all the rest of it, and it just snapped over his head, and he just got these two halves of plasterboard off his head, and he just threw them across this utility room, and it hit one of the copper pipes for the radiator and just broke the joint, and there's just water going.
Oh no!
So,
oh man,
he was talking about making a bad situation worse. I remember that, and you just have to sit there going, don't laugh, because that's going to make him go onto another level. So, not
Damien,
me personally, but I have witnessed it.
Damien, my answer is not recently, but in my younger years. I'll give you Jamie's answer and plead the fifth. Chris Murray wants to know: have you ever made a mistake on a project that ended up making it better?
Making it better.
So I've done a project. I was doing a sculptural project of a horse, and someone burped in my face. I can't say it's made it better, but you wouldn't notice unless I pointed it out to you.
All right. Well, I mean, that's what we call an artistic mistake. Those things are just.
The lady leant over to see what I was doing, burped in my face, and because the line I was doing was so intricate and thin, that it just blew out. That was at Kempton Park Racecourse when I was doing a demo.
Thank you, ma'am. Richard, what about you? Have you ever made a mistake on a project that ended up turning out to be better?
See, that Jamie is why you don't people. Just stay away from people. Making things better. I honestly, I don't know. I think I've had unexpected things happen. They're not necessarily mistakes, but I think one example I'm thinking of was actually turning a bowl, and I think it might even be here. One of them. No, it's some other bowls here. You know when you get like a knot in the blank, and you're like, yeah, that'd be right. And then it just kind of gets worse the more and you're like, oh, hang on a minute. There's a product called, I think it's Knot Tech, which is basically like a hot glue gun, but then the glue sticks, they're not glue, they're like a hard resin.
Richard, are you unable to give a short answer? I'm just curious. It's.
I mean, no.
Then please carry on.
This resiny stuff, and it wasn't something I'd used before, and the knot went mad in this bowl. I thought I'll try it because it's a good experiment for kind of using it on a job or something like that, and it came out great, and it actually looked really nice, and it sort of made a feature at the bottom of this bowl. And if you've got, it's not sponsored, it's good stuff for sealing in knots in whatever.
I guess resin would do that if your bowl would crack.
All right, so
that's kind of the idea of it.
So you made a mistake and you fixed it, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, no. I mean, the knot. I didn't put the knot in. It wasn't my fault. It was just one of those things. It was like a happy accident more than a mistake. But
okay, great. Here's the next question: have you ever almost had a very serious problem in the workshop that made your life pass before you? This is again Chris Murray. Have you ever had a shop problem that seriously made your whole life pass before you? That because if something else would have happened, you could have been either gravely injured or instantly dead.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it?
I nearly cut myself on the scroll saw a few times.
Oh, jeez.
If that had happened, God, no, I wouldn't be able to come into this community ever again.
You'd have to put the guard back on the blade, wouldn't you?
I don't know how Cole Jacobson does it.
Once again, Richard, to you.
No, have you, Chris? Because this is going to be quite a long, but in fact, because I've got two, but they will
pick one and then okay. No, I'll be honest with you. No, my answer to that is honestly no. I've never, because you have to understand. I mean, if you put me in a bar and a fight breaks out, I'm ready to get into it. With whoever is around me. In that sense, I'm rather brave because I'm not a big guy, and I don't really have. I have plenty of courage there, but when I go into a workshop, I'm a coward. I mean, I really am. I mean, I tend to. Most of the time, I tend to seriously pay attention to what I'm doing. Now, there was one time when I didn't, but it wasn't life threatening. It was just, it was an accident in the workshop that was obviously very painful. But honestly, no, I don't. So, Richard, quickly, if you're able,
I think you'll like this. This is actually a router related life flashing before your eyes, and it was one of those things that when they say time slows down, it didn't until after the event when I realised what had happened, and then it was like 10 times slower than when it all slows down because exactly what happened. So Jamie's been round here, and he knows the situation. But basically, I was in the backyard, and it's not a particularly big area. It's where we were turning that day, Jamie, if you remember. Mm-hmm. So you've got 2 windows on adjacent sides of the house, and then right in the very corner is the door on one side, and then about a door's width of concrete, which is the wall. And then the window next to that was actually, at the time, it was the kids' playroom. So, on the carpet with their Sylvanian families and their Legos, just minding their own business kind of scenario. I'm out the back, and I was doing some mortises I think I was building a gate or something, so they were quite big mortises, and I had this big, quite long 1/2-inch cutter in the big router. And as I'm working along, I suddenly noticed that the mortise is getting deeper and deeper, but I wasn't changing any of the settings, and it just
the collet slipped.
Just didn't twig. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I was just going through this. And it wasn't until I realised what had happened, or what was happening, that I then lifted the plunge up, which of course is actually, in hindsight, not the procedure. So this bad boy, and when you think about, it's only a 1/2-inch cutter, so it was literally going at full chat on the machine, 28,000 RPM. I lift the thing up, and that allows space for this chunk of metal to go wherever it fancies. And so it delicately raises out of the work, gracefully in a beautiful arc, fortunately away from me, goes sailing through the air, hits the wall at about chest height, this is, in the wall, between the back door and the playroom window. Right. Ricochets off, still in an upwards arc, I'll point out. It was not coming downwards at this point, it's still going up, back towards me where I'm stood, about maybe 9 feet away, and lands just literally between my feet. Not didn't hit me, it didn't land between me and the wall, it literally landed between my feet. Like, in fact I nearly did, straight on top of it. That's where it was. And it wasn't until I was literally just looking down between my feet, looking at this route cutter, going, "Oh boy,
I might have wet myself.
Unflap time."
Basically, yeah. Next question from Chris, and then we'll move on to Andy. Have you ever learned the hard way why people say "do not do this" in the workshop? Have you ever learned? Because I'll be honest with you. I'll go first. I'm the first one that has pretty much learned everything in his life the hard way. Because when somebody says "do not do this," I automatically go, "Well, I'm gonna freaking do that," because that's just my personality. So, yes, pretty much everything I've learned by not doing what people say. Don't do this. I do that. But what about you guys? And I can't point out a specific instance just because there's too many of them to pick one.
You're painting a picture that you're the reason for these safety warnings. Like, there's literally chapters in manuals dedicated to Chris.
I am very safe, but when somebody tells me you can only cut straight cuts on a table saw, I'm the one who goes, I can do a curve. Blow me. I will do it. That's just and then you learn real quick that, kickback is a real thing. So you have to understand. But until you learn it, that's anyway, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
I really can't think of anything, to be honest. I don't think I've ever.
What about on the lathe?
What
about on the lathe?
No, not really. I've always kind of followed all safety instructions that I should have done.
Okay, Richard.
I don't wear gloves or anything like that. Although someone actually called me out on it today and told me I should be.
I don't see a problem wearing gloves on the lathe. I really don't. Personally, myself. If you're not putting your hand near the spindle, and you're never going to get it close to it, what's the problem if you wear gloves on a lathe? It helps with the vibration.
They told me they told me I should be wearing gloves because U is toxic.
Well, depending on the wood.
U is toxic with those kind of comments. There's one just for the live audience there. You don't get to appreciate that.
Oh, God. I did not just see that. Anyway, go ahead.
That's a dad joke, that is, isn't it?
Oh, boy.
100% dad joke.
Richard?
Yeah, again, I definitely have, and this is route related as well. They say to slow down the big cutters in your router.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they say, like, when they've got really big cutters in your router, you need to put it in a table?
Mm-hmm.
I actually know why that is now, from personal experience. Many, well, not that many, less than I'd care to admit. It really should be much more years, or rather less recent than it is. So probably 12, 13 years ago now, for some reason I decided that I was building a ferret enclosure of all things. We had a ferret at the time called Chester, a little albino ferret. Yeah. Yes, Jamie, that's genuinely. And I decided that I was going to build a hutch, and that the door on the hutch was going to be a fielded panel door. I don't know why. It could have been anything. Could have been like talk about making things more complicated.
On a latch.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been like a pallet just kind of pushed up against it. But it really didn't matter. I just decided to ridiculously overcomplicate it for myself. I think probably because I just wanted an excuse to buy a Profile Scribe panel raising bit set, probably. So I didn't have a router table, couldn't be bothered to make one, so I just put this panel raising bit into the router.
Man.
Seriously, alarm bells should have been ringing when the bit was bigger than the aperture on the router. So I had to literally to get it in, I had to plunge the router down, then put the cutter in, so it was literally got 100% below, sticking out the bottom of the base plate. So had it have unplunged, it would have just gouged its way back through and then tighten the collet up.
The base.
So, and it totally worked. It was like horrible and messy, and yeah, that's why you slow it down, because they're really quick and noisy. So like an air raid siren. But also, like, have you ever had like a gyroscope as a kid? A little gyro that you pull the string and it spins. Try turning that. That's literally what the router does. It just goes all over the place.
Yep.
So that's my entry to the safety section in all manuals.
Yeah, do not do that.
So,
I mean, Richard, I've never done that, but I've thought about it, and I've always gone. No.
There's a comment from Benjamin out in the chat. He says, when I got my first bench grind, I managed to jam my finger between the spinning wheel and the tool rest. No idea how I didn't break my finger. Chewed it up pretty bad, though.
I bet.
Is that where he gets his name, Benjamin?
Ben. That's one of those things that happens in a freaking split second, too, and you're going, All right.
But they don't, do they? They happen in like
they
0.3 time, like
very slowly if it's you. But I mean, it's just one of those things that just all of a sudden it grabs and you're done, dude. Andy Pugh, our man, the Pew with the Q's. That's what we're going to call you from now on. Pew's Q's. It's like Blue's Clues, but a little more adult.
I know Andy was like properly geeking out over like, you could like in the Matrix when all the symbols, that was, as I was explaining that with the cut, he was like that. That's exactly conservation of angular momentum.
All right, question: have you ever wanted to try something but didn't because it was too expensive?
Resin casting.
Jamie,
in the past.
Is resin casting really expensive? I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
It can be proper resin casting. It can be. Obviously, you end up with the pressure pots, and I mean, resin ain't cheap. Anyway, we all know that.
True. I can buy timber cheaper than I can buy resin.
Yeah,
serious.
I've been saving it's like when you're a kid, you save up pennies. Well, I've been saving bowls. That's what it's like for me at the moment. So I'm hoping to do it soon.
I've got
within the next couple of months, hopefully.
I've totally got a solution for that. Seriously, seriously, 100%. If you go to our website, Mex International, blah, 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 and one of our sponsors just happens to be a resin, and they sell hybrid resin pen blanks and knife scouts and all those kind of things. So that's
there
you go.
Yeah,
that's a budget conscious, community sensitive solution to that problem, Jamie.
Sells all her stuff on Etsy.
Yes. So, Richard, have you ever wanted to do something and haven't done it, or maybe didn't do it, or just haven't done it yet because it's just too expensive? Or it would be too expensive?
I don't know. I mean, nothing that springs to mind. I mean, probably resin casting at some point, but then I didn't, because I haven't got the stuff and at the time. It kind of, those kind of decisions, those it's too expensive decisions, kind of go through waves based on what you've got in the pot at the time. You might have a good month, you might have a bad month, and all the rest of it. So I mean, there's probably loads of stuff that I haven't bought at the time because it was not because it was expensive, just because I didn't have the money for it. So I don't know if that's the same thing or not, though.
No, I think it's probably pretty much the same thing. It's because we choose our rabbit holes as far as that goes. And if that was a rabbit hole you really wanted to go down, you'd find the money. But yeah, actual projects that I wanted to do, but that I didn't because it was going to be too expensive. Honestly, my answer is no. maybe it's just because I don't set my sights too high. I mean, but I'm
You saying you got low standards?
I'm saying I have low standards. I mean, I really don't. There aren't. I mean, there are things that would take me eons to make, and it's as far as a time consideration goes that I say no to. And that was part of Andy's question too. But as far as cost, no, because I mean, I'm a very patient guy nowadays. I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't, but I am now. I mean, I will wait and save up things for 2, 3, 4 years. And once I have them all accumulated, I will then go ahead and make what I want to make. It's just, I know. So that cost has never really deterred me, unless you're talking about tools, and that's just a totally different subject. So how about have you ever, and this is the second part of his question, have you ever been wanted to try something but didn't do it because it seemed like it was too complicated or it was too time consuming?
I'm not much in the complicated, time consuming. That for me, this doesn't appear particularly high on the reasons I shouldn't do something.
Well, if you're doing it for money, then it would come in.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, though, that tends to be, more about can the other person afford it, and if they deem like, oh no, that's too expensive, then it doesn't happen.
Right.
Even if something is expensive or time consuming, time consuming is not the same as profitable. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's a different metric. And I'm thinking of this primarily from my own point of view. I generally can't think of anything that out of that, because it tends to be interest based from that point of view.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that I've got, I'm not interested in doing that. And actually for me, I know I mentioned resin casting as the money, but at the time you don't do it because I haven't got 200 quid to drop on this, that and the other and the stuff. But then 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line, that kind of itch isn't there anymore, because you kind of like, oh, something else. Do you know what I mean? So it hasn't got the... So I guess what I'm trying to say, almost without trying to answer both questions at the same time, I think they are actually related, because
yes,
I can think of a few things that I haven't got because I didn't have the money, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I haven't, like, one that pops into my mind is, you get those kind of, Jamie's got one, a little kind of photographing cube that's LED lit.
Well, take the money out of it. Take the money out of it. He's simple. He's wondering if you ever decided not to do something because it was too complicated or time consuming. Forget the money.
In that case, no.
That's perfect. But yeah, okay. Jamie, what about you?
Too complicated. The only thing I can really think of was way back when I first started scrolling, and I get the spirals. I hated them. I couldn't use them, and the thought of doing a big project with them just intimidated the hell out of me. And to me, it's kind of two kind of people. That there's spiral haters, and there's people that like to use nothing but spirals. So I kind of looked at a big project, thought, right, that's a project I'm gonna set the sights on, and I've basically forced myself to like using spirals.
Awesome.
So I don't really see that kind of. I just go for 2 feet for jump, that kind of thing.
Back in the day, Andy, I would say, time consuming wise, yeah, there are things that I didn't do because I didn't have the time. But since I've haven't been working, no, not really. And complication is I don't know how everybody else approaches it, but if I'm looking at a project or even a program or whatever in life, and I'm looking at it as something is very complicated, I will spend more time researching it. And as far as a project goes, I will research it, and know it, and then build it in my own mind before I ever attempt it. And so that is time consuming. But complication, no. I don't have a problem taking on complicated things. It just, if you want to have it, it depends on the desire. If you really want it, you're going to find a way to get it done.
There was actually there's kind of one thing I've been kind of doing, I suppose, is I've been creating a diorama of Maple Tree Studios workshop in my workshop. I kind of want to get everything that Dale's got, but in here, because that man knows what he wants. You know what I'm saying?
Have you got Dale envy?
Dale envy, you could say. I've got the Coronet Herald and the Pro Edge and the Excalibur, so I'm kind of getting there.
Didn't you have your Coronet Herald first though?
Dale,
but I forced him to get his.
Okay.
Dale, turn your hat around because that's going to make you go uncomfortable. Anyway, have you ever done something that shouldn't be possible according to conventional thinking?
That's Jamie.
This podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Have you ever tried to teach someone a form of making and realized, halfway through it, nope, this is just not going to happen for them?
Yes. Oh, yes. Because although I haven't been doing them in the last 12 months or so, it's, because everyone's been poorly. I do the courses, the router courses in person, and all the rest of it. And there have been, I won't say the guy's name, not because he'd be listening to this podcast, but I genuinely can't remember it. But we did have one guy, when you are, we probably all had a teacher at one point at school in that subject that said, you should never do anything in this life that's to do with this subject ever. Like woodwork teacher says you should never walk it, and then you turn into being a master carpenter, or you have a cookery teacher that says, you should never set foot in a kitchen again, and you end up being a world-class chef. That kind of a experience.
Yeah.
Literally, this guy he was keen like you wouldn't believe, like absolutely properly hepped up, excited, keen, like I'm mad for this. I just want to know everything, and he was dangerous. But it made it a hard course. Fortunately, he was the only one on the course, so I wasn't having to kind of babysit this one person at the expense of somebody else. So that was lucky. But it was a case of explaining something very simply. And when I run the courses, I really simplify everything. And then I show the person, and then they do it, and I watch them like a hawk. And it's not until the early afternoon that you actually, this person's got a handle on it. So you kind of just slack. I kind of relax into it because, okay, the risk factor has dramatically decreased. Honestly, 8 hours with this guy, I was just rigid with tension. Just what's he going to do this time? And it just made the day so hard because I was exhausted, physically exhausted from having to just be constantly hypersensitive to everything.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Jamie, what about you?
Can I just quickly quote Mr. Miyagi here?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as bad student, only bad teacher.
Yeah, I mean, that is a valid point. That is absolutely a valid point. And I kind of agree with that from that kind of teaching side of you. But when you tell somebody, you explain, you do this, you do that, right? Okay, you do that, and then they do the opposite. Because sometimes you talk to people and they're like, yeah.
Is being a good teacher also possible that a good teachers know when to put somebody in a corner and leave them there for 15 minutes?
Yeah, naughty step.
Well, that's a valid point actually, Chris, because good teachers do that.
If you're not going to listen to me, then
backhander. Chris, you muted yourself.
That's a very valid point, but in that situation, it's not possible. I mean, it probably is. You probably just say, "Do you know what? I don't know what to say. We're gonna have to refund your money, and you're gonna have to go and all the rest of it." But it was a really, really stressful day, and I genuinely hope that person hasn't injured themselves. I'd prefer it if they just got bored with woodworking. Actually, this isn't for me, rather than get hurt and go, I'm not doing it as a result of that. Right. Do you know?
Yeah.
What about you, Jim?
You've also got that on your conscience as well.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Jamie, carry on. Have you ever tried to teach somebody and found out halfway through that it wasn't going to work for them?
No, not really. I mean, I've taught a few people, and luckily for me, they seem to work out really well for them. I mean, they've not been hurt. Some people have. I mean, Claire's Crafty Corner. She's even gone on and she's got her own lathe.
Awesome.
You know, a couple of other people have gone on to do their own thing. My nephew, near enough, every time he comes round here, if he's not on his computer, he wants to come out here with us. Now, even more so, now it's decorated.
Oh, Jamie, you were teaching Mini Noodle as well, weren't you? So
yeah,
and she's come back and she jumps on my lathe. She'll jump on. She's got her own. She's got 2 lathes now.
Yeah, and obviously there's Kat as well. Who's a little bit intimidated by the scroll saw.
Yes, yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Andy, to finish out Andy's questions today, my answer to that is I haven't had the privilege, and I say that in all sincerity, of having the opportunity to teach people, because I think it's a privilege to be able to do so. That's just my own point of view, and if you don't want to agree with it, that's fine. But I've only been able to teach a couple people, and one of them was my neighbor's son, and he had an aptitude, didn't seem to have a ton of interest, but he knew how to listen and do. And the other person would be my son, and my son is quite handy in the workshop. So I've had success. So I mean, we're only talking 2 people. So I mean, no, I've never had that personally myself. So Andy and Chris Murray and Demo, thank you for the questions. Now we get to the
There's actually one more, Chris.
All right, go for it.
There's one more from Chris of the Dragons.
Go for it.
He wants to know, do you read instructions? And if you do, is it before or after you've started?
If it's putting a piece of equipment together, I read the instructions. If it's not putting a piece of equipment together that I spent my money on, probably I wouldn't. No, I would just kind of, whatever. I mean, but other than machinery that needs to be assembled out of a box, I don't do a lot of things with instructions anyway, so why would I? I mean, it's okay. Anyway.
I think for me, it all depends on what it is I bought. If it's a power tool, I'll read the instructions.
Yeah, me too.
The last thing I want to do is get a chop saw or something like that, have my hand under it, even if it's got a guard in it, and all of a sudden the head of it just goes drop.
Well, I mean, I'm more worried about alignment when it comes to that kind of things. I mean, because I do follow the instructions as far as that stuff goes, but like whatever. Anyway, I don't need to expound upon mine. Richard, do you?
Yeah, I tell you, anything that I've either it's the first time I've come across it before, or you're doing it for somebody else, because that comes into play a lot as well. Somebody wants a particular thing fitted or something integrated or whatever that. If you're fitting a kitchen, you've got umpteen different appliances that are integrated. As Zanussi integrates its door than Bosch, for example, so that yes, and you I think you get into that sort of habit. I genuinely don't know where the whole bravado of reading instructions or not reading instructions comes from, but tempered with that,
I know where it comes from, but go ahead.
I was going to say, tempered with that, if it's for me, sometimes you just look at it and you go, well, that's really simple. That doesn't always work like that, because sometimes it's got like some little secret thing that you didn't know about. But generally, I will at least read the list of stuff what you're supposed to have in the box, because I can assure you, there is nothing more frustrating than getting halfway through, flat packing a
and finding something wasn't included,
and then you've got to take it all apart and take it back to the store.
Yeah.
Because you go back to the store and go, these were missing. The first question is, where's the thing? It's half built. And yeah, okay. So, yeah, generally 95% of the time, I probably will at least either read all of it or read what you're supposed to have.
Well, I'll tell you where the origin of that comes from. It comes from, and it's directed at men, not women. And it comes from the early 30s, 40s, 50s, into the 60s. It's men's refusal to stop the car and ask for directions. That's where that comes from. then it kind of just morphed into I don't read instructions either. It's like we don't need them. Whatever. Anyway, so all right.
Have you ever read instructions that were actually less you made you less understanding of what you were supposed to do than
Yes.
before reading them.
Yes.
So I remember when I
have.
got my first little laser cutter, that it was a Neji, I think it was called.
Yeah, the old Nijis, yeah.
And I was like, I can't read Chinese.
I can't read Chinese.
It was a guessing game.
When they translate it, it's like, because some of those translations are just like, what? Because you're reading it, and you're
genuinely think there is a market for a job where all you do is you know, say you're into 3D printing and laser cutting or whatever it is. There's a specific job there to be employed by the Chinese translation company, and they send you the machine and they send you the instructions, and what you do is you just annotate and make notes, and you retranslate that instruction book into English from English, you know.
Yeah.
Because some of them are just, I mean, there's like a whole thing that's come up on the internet around joking these like bizarre sentences they put together. And it's not because they don't know the machines, it's because they don't know the language.
All right, we don't have much time left, but we should be able to blow through the rest of these questions real quick. Yes or no answers only, gentlemen, unless you have a story that is compelling. Okay, here we go. And these are the ones that I did. And I chose these. There was a website that had like 200 of these questions. And I used a random number generator to decide which questions we're asking today. So
this is totally about to go down the Swan.
Yeah, this is where we go down the college drunken party zone. Yep. All right. Quickly. And let's go in order. Richard, Jamie, me. Richard, you.
Do we have still the sound clip from Berkey? The warning, you are watching this of your own. This is where we play it at this point right here.
You are watching and or listening to this of your own free will. So here we go. Richard, and then to Jamie, and then to me. Have you ever gone skydiving, bungee jumping, or parasailing?
I've done parachuting, but not any of the first ones that you said.
Okay, Jamie?
No, I did the floor too hard.
Yes, I did bungee jumping. We can talk about that later. Have you ever talked on the phone for more than 2 hours?
Not as I recall.
Yes.
Yes, to me too.
No, you hang up.
What was your name, Jamie?
I don't know. She was trying to sell me car insurance.
Mine
Being on hold doesn't count, Jamie.
All right.
Mine was an old girlfriend. Have you ever been out in the rain and liked it?
No.
Yes, I love it.
Yes, I have. Have you ever worn the same underwear 2 days in a row?
More times than I care to admit. But that does to put context. Army days. Hello. Yes. You know, just in my own defence.
Same as me when I was in the boys' brigade.
I'll just say COVID and move on. Have you ever laughed so hard that whatever you were drinking at the time came out of your nose?
Yes.
Yes. Jamie?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
Mine's gross. I was drinking milk, and wasn't good. Have you ever regifted something that was given to you?
Not as I recall. Probably though.
I'm quite sure I have in the past. Okay, here we go. Have you ever gotten so drunk off of a liquor that you threw up, got sick, and swore you'd never drink again?
Obviously.
And I can even add seizure to that.
Richard? All right, we'll go, because my answer is, oh yeah. Richard, what kind of liquor was it? What was it?
It's probably Sambuca.
Jamie?
So there was a real ale festival down in town where I lived, and we basically done everyone that was there, and because we knew the owner of the bar or pub, whatever you want to say, he was giving us extra shots of all different kinds of cocktails and cranberry and vodka and all that kind of stuff.
Mixed with
beer.
There's
freebies.
Mixed with beer. Yeah, that's...
So the next morning I weren't too good.
Richard, let me ask you a question, though, because I have an answer to mine. Can you smell Sambuca today?
If I do, it makes me feel sick. Yeah, because I just
do the glands
No,
in the
it's wrong.
do the glands
It's just-
in the back of your throat all of a sudden automatically start what? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. My answer to that is yes. And the look of mine was when I was in high school, MD, what we used to call Mad Dog 2020. But the one that really gets
we
me.
used to have 2020 in the UK. Do you remember that, Jamie?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Oh my.
Yeah.
My
That
buddy-
was like the. It might be different to you. Do your
No,
bit first.
Trust me, it was the same. It was the same. My
looked
buddy and I
toxic.
we were in high school, and we went to a 7-Eleven, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, it's a convenience store, and they had these really big soft drinks that you could buy. And we each went, he and I both went in and bought one of whatever flavor we wanted, Coca-Cola or whatever, and then we poured half of it out, and then we had a bottle of MD 2020, and it's a relatively tall bottle, kind of thin,
Kind of square, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so anyway, he poured half in his thing and poured half in mine, and then we went to the high school football game. By the time the game was over, we rode our bikes there, which tells you how young I was, and we couldn't even ride our bikes home. I mean, and then I got so sick. Yeah, no. The other one was tequila, and I to this day cannot smell tequila without that gland thing happening in the back of my. No.
For me, tequila's not as bad. I mean, it's not a particularly pleasant thing. I don't like drinking it, but it doesn't give me that same kind of retching, horrible that Sambuca does. Yeah.
All right, next one. Slept with somebody whose name you next morning you couldn't remember.
No.
Not answering that.
I plead the fifth. Gone skinny dipping.
I called it chunky dunking.
Possibly. It's a bit of a fuzzy sort of.
Definitely.
I was in my early 20s.
Then you did.
There was
Then you-
probably
Richard-
something to do with the
no.
previous question.
Yep.
But I couldn't, hand on heart, give an honest answer to that.
Don't even try to convince yourself. Then you did.
This has just gone way downhill.
Have you ever gotten arrested?
No.
No.
I'm a good boy, really.
Yes. Have you ever? I'm really turning out to be the sleazeball of the group here. Have you ever played
I
strip
told you
poker?
that before we started.
Oh, please. Have you ever played strip poker?
I don't even know how to play
Nope.
poker.
No.
With cards. No idea.
Yes. Have you ever put somebody's hand in warm water while they were sleeping?
No.
Tried it, didn't work. Just they
Yeah.
woke up, water everywhere. It kind of backfired.
Yes, it worked. Have you ever TP'd someone's front lawn or house?
No, that's not a Brit thing.
Okay. So I guess your answer is no too, Jamie?
That's my answer's no too.
Okay. Yes, I have. Have you ever gone on a blind date?
No.
Don't think so. No.
Yes, I have. Have I'm really
Damn
not
it,
looking.
Chris.
This is just not doing anything for my
And you pick the
reputation right now.
questions.
Have you ever gone? Have you ever eaten Have you ever eaten an entire pizza by yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get to look like a fine example of mouth physique for no reason whatsoever.
Yes, I did. I did it on a bet.
A little side note, and this is purely because these questions are going downhill, and I'm dreading the next one every time. That I've got a funny, I think it's amusingly about ordering pizza. It's a house party. We decided we were going to get pizza. We rung the pizza delivery people, and the person that when you go around the house, you have this, I want this, and you put the order in. And it got to the end, and the girl, her name was Emma. It was her house that we were all at. She'd rung up and blah, blah, blah. And somebody said they wanted garlic bread, and I want garlic bread and pizza and this and that. And it turned out there were 3 people that wanted to have garlic bread with their pizzas. And right at the end, she goes, and free garlic bread. And then the guy turned up with this enormous bucket of garlic bread because it was free. Because the way she'd said 3 garlic bread, she just went, yeah, I want this and this and this and free garlic bread. And they just sent free garlic bread.
Wow.
Bizarre.
Oh.
Moving on. We've only got a couple more left. Have you ever ridden on an animal most people wouldn't, like for instance a cow, an elephant, as opposed to a horse?
Nope.
No, only horses.
Yes, I have. Have you ever gone? It was an elephant, by the way. Have you ever gone on 2 dates in the
She
same...
won't like you saying that, Chris.
No. I don't... She's many moons transpired, so it's no big deal. No, honestly, I did. I wrote it.
Oh, somebody's yes,
I wrote
kind of a dolphin. Yes, somebody said in the thing they rode on a dolphin. It wasn't really riding on the back, but we went to Cuba many years ago when I first started dating Kat. And one of the activities we did was to go and swim with dolphins, and they all swim up to you next, and you grab like the sticky out of the water bit when they pretend to be a shark. You grab hold of it, and
it's called the dorsal fin.
That thing, yeah, the shark bit, and away you go.
The shark bit.
Wow, you are some biologist, Mr. Morley. Have you ever gone on 2 dates in the same evening?
No.
Yes, I have.
That's a story. You got to tell that one. Come on.
Oh, no. For another day.
At the same time.
We don't need to have this right now.
I've just got to take this call up round the corner down the road. Yeah, sorry. No.
Yeah, that's going to be a lengthy story. I'm just be satisfied with the fact that I am now embarrassed.
I guess next week's podcast is the answer to all of Chris's questions.
is yes. Have you ever had a serious relationship with the former love of a friend?
No.
The former love of a friend? No.
Yes, I have.
See, now we know why Chris has never done a spotlight.
Have you ever performed in a talent show?
Really? Of course not.
Jamie?
I think I did one years and years ago. So I don't know if it's what you call over in the States, but there was one. I went to back again to when I was associated with the Boys Club. There was something called. It was an event that we all went to, and the event was called Chubby Bunny. And you had to get marshmallows in your mouth. You had to get marshmallows in your mouth.
Oh, I was going to say this goes back to the 2 days in one night, I guess. But anyway, go ahead.
It was called Chubby Bunny, and you had to fit marshmallows in your mouth and then say Chubby Bunny. The one that got the most amount of marshmallows in your mouth and still be able to say it won a T-shirt. That's the only thing that's the only thing I can really think of.
Well, thus end the questions, my friend. The answer to that question is yes, I did. I did perform at a talent show, actually more than one.
Did you win anything?
Yes, I did.
What did you win?
First place.
No, I mean, like the I won first place.
Let's not get too involved here, Mr. Morley. It doesn't have to be that serious. Anyway, we've got like 5 minutes left, and we have to let Jamie sing. So, Jamie, if you have tuned up the orchestra, if you have got the fat lady ready to sing with the chubby bunnies, let's give her a go. Go for it.
Right. So it's time for Jamie's page.
There we go.
So
that's a chubby bunny right there.
The first order of business is on the 30th of this month. The virtual craft festival is taking place. That's a day of making from different crafters. 16 hours, starting from 10 a.m. in the UK until 2 a.m. the next day. So yeah, that's going to be happening. So more information can be found out about that at virtuallycrafty.com.
Awesome.
The next order of business is Jake Thompson has just passed 30,000 subscribers. So well done to Jake.
Nicely done. Well done, Jake.
I have a premiere coming out in 34 minutes. Caitlin the Cat is on 15 minutes after me.
I'm shocked. But happy.
So my shout out is someone very new to the community. At the moment, she's just started putting out pyrography stuff, but she's going to be doing some. The Instagram at the moment is primarily pyrography stuff, but she's going to be adding woodworking and other bits and bobs to it later on down the line. And the Instagram page is wood.craft.eviglione.
Link in the description. Because there's no way anybody's going to remember that. Link in the description.
Her name's Elizabeth. I believe she's out in the chat as well. I think I did see her name go past a couple of times. So yeah, she does some great stuff. So be sure to go over and follow her.
Awesome, Richard. What about you?
Yeah, I do have a shout out actually. I don't know if you guys know. Jamie might have even mentioned it. Make Central this year. Make Central 2021.
I didn't mention it. No.
1st and 2nd May. The tickets are on sale, so you can.
In May.
In May, the 1st and the 2nd of May, 2021. So that is 4 months' time, isn't it? 4 and a bit months' time.
And what stage of lockdown are you guys in right now?
Like total,
a big one.
Look,
I will
vans
say
going down the street with speakers.
I will say no more
to tase people if they go out at the moment.
If that actually happens, I will be there. But okay, whatever. Anyway, is that going to be your shout? Do you have another one?
No, that wasn't going to be my shout. I just wanted to kind of add it in because I wasn't sure whether people knew about it. Because if you are, then great. If you're not, then you at least now you know, and you can kind of make your own informed choices. It's 3.5 months according to Andy Pugh. Because it's right at the start of the 5th month, isn't it?
Richard,
my shout out this week, sorry, Chris, is Be Inspired with Dominic Bender. Really nice guy. I actually met him in person for the first time at Maker Central, the previous one, or the latest one that happened, which seems like about 20 years ago now, but that one. He's an awesome guy. He's from Germany. He speaks very good English, certainly better than I speak German. And he's got a really good sense of humour. It's a little bit kind of quirky. He's what you'd probably consider as being eccentric, but he's a really clever guy, and he does make some cool stuff. Not particularly technical necessarily, or kind of fine furniture, but this video that he put out is called Making an Effort. And then you look at the project and you think, okay, that's the project, but it was about the kind of the meaning behind the project and the impetus to do it more than the physical properties of making the project. I thought it was very good, very well done, and very thought-provoking as well, which is why I thought it worthy of my shout-out this week. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Dominic Bender, Be Inspired with Dominic. Really nice guy.
Link in the chat or down in the description. My shout-out this week goes to Wes Hamstra. Wes normally does good work, but I thought a few people may find his latest video helpful. Wes has one of those rigid oscillating belt and / spindle sanders units, and I know a lot of people have those kind of units, or not necessarily rigid. There are many of them out there that
floppy or
whatever.
Or droopy.
But anyway, he built a cart for his, and I just thought that because I know the amount of people that out there that have those things, I thought they might find it interesting. So I figured I'd give it a shout out today, and just if you want to go check it out, go check out Wes Hamstra. He did a little cart for his, and it may give you ideas on how you want to do your own. So there you go. That's me. All done. Good to go. Wrapped up with a bow on it for you, Mr. Morley, today. Well done, too, by the way.
Boom. Yeah, I've just been practicing that.
Exactly. Oh, 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Exactly an hour.
I'm congratulating Richard on showing up. I just thought that was the first step. The first step in the right direction.
A little sticker, a little badge.
Yeah.
Participation.
This is his participation trophy.
Now I know Richard's motive for keep talking all them times.
Just want to get an hour's long. That was it. So yeah, if you are still with us, then I am, particularly this week, I am literally amazed. If you're not, as always, we say what we like about you. I'm not sure if we're doing a free win on Patreon because we don't do an after party, but you get it if you're listening live. Sadly, you don't if you're listening in the future on your fruit-based audio weekly subscription
platform
thing. So yeah, until next week when we talk about something else, hopefully more interesting and less draining, or
was that draining?
Morally invasive, as Chris is. Can blame him for that one. So yeah, until next week, we'll see you. Take care and stay safe.
Have a great week, everybody.
Take it easy, everybody.